What's up, guys? Welcome back to another edition of 101 Sports and Cards. Always, I'm Nate the Hallway, and with me, George.
What's up?
So we're going to start on the NFL, like always. Would say there wasn't a lot of NFL news, but then, a blockbuster trade happened today. Cowboys got George Pickens from the Steelers and a 2027 sixth-round pick in exchange for a 2026 third and a 2027 fifth. Who won this trade?
Cowboys.
That's false. Why?
Because they need a wide receiver.
Steelers won this trade. You got a third-round pick for he's an average receiver. He's a great receiver. Great talent, but he's average because his mind isn't in the game. And this is a massive move for the Steelers because, usually Mike Tomlin doesn't move on from players. I mean, the dude's coached some interesting guys. Antonio Brown comes to mind. This is basically him giving up on George Pickens. And it was clear that this was probably going to happen because George Pickens is too worried about, getting into fights on the sideline than actually running routes and playing the game of football the right way. And it also would have been terrible for the Steelers to have both him and DK because DK also does stupid things as well, although he's a much better player. And now, George Pickens is going to go to Dallas with a, rookie head coach, Jerry Jones, that he says he has control of the team, but he doesn't have control of the team. They don't give two craps about what Jerry Jones says. And George Pickens is going to be, it's going to be very interesting. It's not going to work out. That's my opinion. Steelers on the street. The Ravens cut Justin Tucker. Of course, he's getting investigated by the NFL for things we're not going to talk about. Of course, they drafted Tyler Loop in the draft out of Arizona. The Jags cut Gabe Davis. What a downfall this guy had. Dude went from having, 4 touchdowns in a playoff game like 2 seasons ago.
3 or 4. And
now he's getting cut by the Jaguars, and the Jags are absorbing $20.3 million in dead cap space because of it. I like Gabe Davis. I hope he gets another chance somewhere. Maybe go back to Buffalo because God knows they need a receiver. I didn't expect this to happen. I mean, they have their 1 with Brian Thomas. They have their 2 with Travis Hunter, although all of you know that I can't stand the guy and don't think he's going to be good. They don't really have that 3, and that would have been Gabe Davis. The Eagles and Dallas Goedert agree on a rework deal that will keep him in Philadelphia next season. The Commanders are set to host the 2027 NFL Draft. It will be in Washington, D.C. And next week, I will start my offseason team grades by division. Yay. Moving on to the association. Greg Popovich steps down as Spurs head coach to become the full-time president of basketball operations. Unfortunately, we hired Mitch as our head coach. And I hate it. He's not a good coach. Could have went literally anybody else. Anybody. I wanted Michael Malone.
Doc Rivers.
Hell no.
So that's not anybody.
Anybody that deserves to be a head coach. Doc Rivers doesn't deserve anything. He sucks at everything he does.
Well, you make something clear then.
Technically, Doc Rivers still has a job, so he shouldn't. If I was the Bucks, I would have fired him before I even hired him. I'd love to be a team owner and to hire Doc Rivers and then like a second later be like, you're fired just because you suck. It'd be great. But this is a big thing for the Spurs. Of course, Pop, 29 years with the team. 5 championships, gold medal in the Olympics, 50-win seasons, all but, 5 years, something like that, which is unbelievable. They were one of the best dynasties in sports during his time with the team. The only team that I would say was over them was probably the Patriots, since it was about the same time. But good for Pop to basically get a promotion as president of basketball operations. And God, I hope Miss Johnson doesn't screw this up. The Nuggets defeated the Clippers in 7 games. Of course, with this, we're continuing with what the teams that lost need to do in the offseason, what do the Clippers need to do in the offseason.
I don't know. They need a star player.
They need a star player.
Yeah.
They have Kawhi, Harden, and Zubac.
It's my point. They're all old.
Zubac's not old.
I don't know. They just... I don't really care about the Clippers because they always suck. And like I said, they lose.
Yeah, I'm the one that picked them.
Yeah.
I'm very happy the Nuggets won. But they don't need to do anything. They need to keep Norman Powell. For one, everybody who's saying trade Norman Powell, Norman Powell was... You didn't watch the Clippers this year. Norman Powell was their best player. Had his best season at whatever age he is, 31, 32, whatever he is. All you need, for one, you need to stay healthy. You need Kawhi to stay healthy, which he was somewhat able to do this year, which is amazing. Zubac had a great season, best season of his career. And then when you make it back, not if, because they're going to be a playoff team next year. You need James Harden to step up in the playoffs because that continues to be their issue. Other than that, they need some better bench players. They need a shooting guard as well, or I guess a shooting because they have Kawhi, power, and yeah. I mean, they were starting Chris Dunn. You know something's wrong when you're starting Chris Dunn. No offense to Chris Dunn, he ain't a starter. Timberwolves defeat the Lakers in 5. What do the Lakers need to do in the offseason? This is an easy answer.
Everything.
They need a starting center. Easy answer. Second off, they need to, keep LeBron.
They need to keep Luka.
And they need to sign Luka to an extension. All of which are likely going to happen. Especially the center. Free agency is loaded with centers. There's a ton of... Rob Pelinka came out and said that they're going to, get better this offseason, that everybody is on the table except for Luka, LeBron, and Austin Reeves. The Knicks defeat the Pistons in 6. What do the Pistons need to do in the offseason after their historic turnaround? This is where you should be saying get a star player.
Yeah, but I don't know who they get.
They need a star player. They need another star in the backcourt next to Cade. They have the front court pretty well set with Duran and then Tobias Harris. With the backcourt, you have... Ron Holland played decent in the playoffs towards the end of the season. I still don't see him as a starter. Still don't think he should have been taken as high as he was in the draft. They need that other star. Now, who that could be, don't know. Their GM came out today and said that they will be looking at a potential trade. He wasn't going to rule out a potential trade during the draft. Of course, they have no first-round picks this year. They have a ton of future first and second round picks, plus quite a few, expiring contracts. The other thing that they need to do is keep Malik Beasley, who is an unrestricted free agent this summer. He did say after they lost to the Knicks in Game 6, he did say that he does want to remain in Detroit because it's the most fun playing basketball he's had in his career. And it showed because he put together the best season of his career. Yeah. He was second in total threes in the league off the bench. Probably should have won 6th Man of the Year. We're not going to talk about that because I did that a few weeks ago. Talking about another one that, a Pistons person should have won. Kenny Atkinson won Coach of the Year. This was abysmal voting. J.B. Bickerstaff, the Pistons tripled their win total from a season ago. They went from having the worst record in the league the last 2 years to being the 6th seed, making the playoffs for the first time since 2018-19. All they needed, you go for Monty Williams, who couldn't develop a system, couldn't develop anything, to, I still love Monty, he's a former Spurs player. But JB came in and absolutely turned this franchise around. He made it into a culture, and he should have won. Do you agree that JB should have won?
That's why I said should have won.
I don't agree with Kenny Atkinson. People were absolutely pissed at this. Congratulations, Kenny Atkinson, for this award, because guess what? You took over JB Bickerstaff's team that he built when he spent 5 years with the Cavs. If you didn't know this, he was the Cavs head coach for the last 5 years before they fired him in the offseason. He took their team to, the best record in the Eastern Conference with a fully healthy team, which never happened whenever Bickerstaff was there. And look at them now whenever they're not healthy. That's what we're going to talk about here in a second. Sam Presti won Executive of the Year. Kind of knew this would happen. He's the Thunder, if you didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know. Because I don't care about executives.
He's the best GM in the league. The Nuggets lead the Thunder 1-0. Aaron Gordon hit the game-winning three-pointer in Game 1. This was an epic collapse by the Thunder. I still think the Thunder win this series, but they have to win tonight in Game 2, in my opinion. You don't want to go down 0-2 and then have to travel to Denver. You think the Nuggets have any chance?
Yeah. You can't count out this team.
I mean, think about the Jokic in Game 1. It was all on Aaron Gordon because he hit the game-winning shot, but this was Jokic. It was Westbrook. It was Jamal Murray. It was everybody, mainly Jokic. Jokic had 42 points, 22 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks. The first person ever in NBA playoff history to have that stat line, which is amazing. And this is like his third or fourth 40-20 game of the postseason. And it seems like nobody talks about it, which is stupid because Jokic is the best player in the world. He may not win MVP this year, but he is the best player in the world. He's the best player in this series. No offense to Shea.
He's been the best player in the world for the past 5 years.
Yes. I still think the Thunder win. I think this could go 7 games. The Warriors lead the Timberwolves 1-0. Of course, the big headline out of Game 1 was Stephen Curry leaving it early in the second quarter. He suffered a grade 1 left hamstring strain. That is what the MRI said today. He is set to miss at least a week. Many believe that if he is able to return in 1 week, he will miss Game 2 and 3. Could return by Game 4. Most people believe he will not return until Game 6. Is this a problem for the Warriors?
Yes and no. I still think they can get it done over them, but it's going to be a struggle. It's going to be too close.
I mean, it didn't really affect them last night. Like, they dominated the Timberwolves defensively. I mean, the Timberwolves couldn't get anything to go. They made 5 3-pointers in the game. Naz Reid had 3 of them. Anthony Edwards made 1 field goal in the game. Their head coach, Chris Finch, then called him out after the game, which is something that needed to be done because, to be honest, the whole team did not show up last night. I still think the Warriors can get this done just because with Jimmy Butler, they need Jimmy to turn into, playoff Jimmy with the Heat. Draymond had an unbelievable Game 1. He had 16 points in the first half, finished the game with 18. But his 16 points in the first half was the most he's had in a half in a playoff game since 2018. If he continues to play like he is, along with Butler and Buddy Hield, who has just been absolutely draining threes. They'll also need, Brandon Podziemski, Gary Payton II, some other guys like that to step up. Kuminga to definitely step up since he's now back into the rotation after he was benched early on. The Pacers lead the Cavs 2-0. Tyrese Halliburton had a game-winning 3-pointer to win Game 2 last night. The Cavs were up 7 points with 57 seconds left and blew it on their home floor. They were up by more than 20 in this game. The Pacers have completely taken this series over. They were able to take both games on the road. Of course, the Cavs had Evan Mobley, DeAndre Hunter, and Darius Garland are all injured. They were out last night. Garland missed Game 1 as well. Do the Cavs have a chance in the series?
I mean, they're not even healthy. They didn't have a chance.
I kind of figured after Game 1, entering the series, I know I said the Cavs were going to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, but with how the Pacers played in the first round against the Bucks, they match up perfectly against the Cavs, and the series is over. It does not matter. For the Cavs to win this series, they have to win Game 3 on the road in Indiana tomorrow night without 3 of their best players. And that's not going to happen. Or they might not be without, all 3 of them. They may be without 1 or 2 of them. Or they could be with all of them, but they're all going to be playing injured. And hasn't worked out thus far. I'm all in on the Pacers. Just making a deep run. Possibly a final. I think the Pacers right now are the best team in the East with how they're playing. Tyrese Halliburton has really taken, the players that voted him as the most overrated player in the league. And
basically tell him to shove it.
Yeah. Which he did yesterday because after the game, when he was at the free throw line, Cavs were chanting overrated at him. After the game, he said overrate that. So he is all in on this. The Knicks lead the Celtics 1-0 after a Game 1 victory in overtime. Of course, the Celtics kind of did this to themselves. They had a 20-point lead in the second half. The Celtics missed 45 three-pointers, the most in NBA playoff history. 45. It's unbelievable. In the fourth quarter, 19 of their 20 jump shot attempts were three-pointers. You think that eventually you would stop shooting them. Joe Mazzulla was asked about this. He said, you got to make them in, the Joe Mazzulla way of where he's basically a dick every time he comes up to the podium because that's just how he is. I like Joe Mazzulla as a coach. I think he's a very good coach. But at some point, you got to be like, guys, we're up 20. We're playing like we're down 20.
Yeah.
You don't need to do this. Also, Kristaps Porzingis left game 1 with an illness. He's probable for tonight. Probably going to play. Sam Hauser will not play tonight. He sprained his ankle during a play in which he fouled. I believe it was OG Anunoby on a 3-point attempt. And he is doubtful, which means he's not going to play. So, I'm still picking the Celtics, unless I think they're a much better team than the Knicks. But the Celtics, this is a must-win game for the Celtics. They do not want to go into Madison Square Garden down 0-2, in my opinion. The Knicks have enough talent, especially with Jalen Brunson, because the Knicks are the best team in close games in the fourth quarter because Jalen Brunson. Talking about Brunson, he became just the third player in NBA history to score 75 points in his team's first 7 playoff games during the playoff run. The other 2, Stephen Curry and Kobe Bryant. Pretty good. Pretty elite company to join. Well, I got to say that this has been one of the best playoffs I've ever seen. I've been watching NBA for a long time. This has been one of the best playoffs. It's unbelievable. It's great to cover. But what I am looking forward to the most is next Monday, the NBA Draft Lottery. Spurs have 2 chances at the top pick. Who do you think is the number 1 pick? The top odds are the Wizards, Jazz, and
I don't know.
Wizards, Jazz, and Pelicans. Who gets the top pick?
I don't know. It'll be the Spurs again. They'll pull something up their ass.
So you're not going to say it's going to be one of the top teams?
It never is.
I don't think it's going to. If it's anybody, I don't think they give it to the Spurs. I think they give it to the 76ers.
It'll be Philadelphia.
I believe it'll be Philly. There's going to be 3 teams. It's going to be Philly, Dallas, or San Antonio.
Yeah.
Or they're going to be like, Houston, you absolutely sucked. I didn't put that as a team. The Warriors defeated the Rockets. We didn't do this for the offseason. What are the Rockets going to do in the offseason?
Song player.
Yes. They're going to be like, Houston, we know you have the Suns pick, so we're going to have the Suns win. If the Rockets win the draft lottery, I'll be so pissed. I was so happy when they lost. I really thought the Warriors were going to blow a 3-1 lead again. But, Jalen Green's now in trade rumors after his, I don't even know how you describe it. It was worse than terrible. Playoff series. He said it himself. He told the media that he played like shit, which he did. The Rockets, you have 2 options. It's Kevin Durant or Giannis. It's about your only 2 options. They did push back Fred VanVleet. Fred VanVleet could have signed his player option this Friday. They pushed it back to the end of June, which means that he could be traded at the draft, which is a big thing, especially with them having the Suns pick. So, either way, I still think the Rockets are too stupid to actually go get a star player. And for them, they'll probably go get KD when, the smart thing would be to get Giannis. Moving on to the MLB, the Dodgers today. Oscar Hernandez is out, quote-unquote, for a while So Dave Roberts said, with a grade 1 groin strain. The good news for the Dodgers is that Landon Knack is coming back, so they will have one of their pitchers back. They still have the best record in baseball. They did lose last night to the Marlins, which is sad. But some weird news. I find this amazing. Paul Skeens already have more losses this season than he had all last year, and everybody is like, raving about it. They're like, is he overrated? The dude has a 2.77 ERA. And I think people forget that the only reason win-loss totals don't matter. The only reason he doesn't have more wins is because the Pirates have one of the worst offenses in baseball.
Yeah.
But Paul Skeens is now 0-4 in his career against the St. Louis Cardinals. So you watched yesterday. Also talking about the Cardinals, although I hate the Cardinals. Shout out to Matthew Liberatore, who's having a great season. He's finally living up to the hype when he was prospect for the Rays, right? The Rays prospect. Royce Lewis made his season debut for the Twins.
Did he hit a grand slam?
No. He is DHing before they bring him back to third base. He told the media that he is tired of being on the IL.
No crap. Spent your whole career now.
So, he's not lying when he says that. He's played 150 with his game coming back last night. He's played 153 games during his career in the MLB. That's not even a full season.
Yeah. He's been in the league since 2022.
So how long does it take before he gets back on the IL?
2 months.
I'm saying 2 weeks tops. As soon as they put him back at third base, something's gonna happen. The Twins also got back Willie Castro, so maybe they're actually getting healthy, and maybe they'll stay healthy until tonight's game, and they'll put like 10 players on the IL after it, because that's
Minnesota.
Yeah. The Mariners claimed Leody Taveras off of waivers from the Rangers. I thought it was a very interesting move by the Rangers. I know they have a ton of outfield depth, but Leody was a key piece of their championship run a few years ago. Do you like this move for the Mariners?
Yeah, they finally get a bat in the lineup. Besides Julio and Cal.
Cal Raleigh's been on fire. Won the game again last night. Outside of them two, it literally is nobody. I like this move. Of course, he's going to take over Victor Robles' spot since Robles is poop. Robles is out. The Yankees DFA'd Carlos Carrasco. Of course, a great story with Carrasco. You saw it coming, though.
Yeah.
He hasn't really been good for a while. Yesterday was a interesting day in baseball. The Giants scored 9 runs in the 11th inning to defeat the Cubs. This was a Wrigley Field record. And prior to that, the Yankees had a 10-run 7th to beat the Padres. So a very interesting day in baseball. Pete Alonso and Aaron Judge won Player of the Month. We all knew Aaron Judge was going to do this because, the dude's batting over 400. He leads the league in every statistical category available, hitter-wise. Hell, put him out on the mound for the Yankees. He might become their best pitcher, too. Doesn't take much. Were you surprised with Pete? Pete has had a great year.
Yeah, but I would give it to Pete, though. Old Kyle Tucker.
I would give it to Kyle Tucker. Although Kyle has kind of fizzled off a little bit. But, you could have went with a guy, one of Pete's teammates, and Francisco Lindor.
Yeah.
The Angels put Mike Trout on the IL with a left knee contusion. Took 29 games before he got hurt. They did say that it's not a serious injury, so he should be back, by the end of the 10-day IL stint. But, as soon as he comes back, he'll get hurt again. Another guy on the IL, the Reds put Noel Elvey on the IL with an oblique strain, so he's going to be out a little bit.
Yeah.
Now you can blame, whenever you start losing games, be like, because your team just sucks.
Second in the division.
A Little League team could be second in the damn division. It's not that hard. It's the worst division in baseball.
No, it's the AL East right now.
The AL East.
Yeah.
It's the worst division.
Yeah, I know. Blue Jays suck.
The Blue Jays are over 500.
Orioles suck. The worst. It's the worst.
The NL Central is the worst division.
No. It's actually probably the AL Central.
Guardians are playing alone. The Tigers are the second best team in baseball. The Twins suck. The the White Sox shouldn't be a team.
Yeah.
Talking about the White, do you like their City Connect jerseys?
I haven't seen them.
They're red. They look like.
Is it for the blood from everything?
Okay, no, it's from like the Bulls.
Oh.
They're partnering with the Bulls. I think they look so freaking stupid.
They play just like the Bulls do. They suck.
And then they went viral because on the back, like on the collar of it, it has all the championships, like the White Sox won and the Bulls won, and all the White Sox championships besides the one like in the early 2000s. We're back in like the 1920s.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be who knows how long before they actually win another
They never
one.
win another one.
On other sports, Scotty Scheffler dominated the Byron Nelson this weekend. He shot 31 under. It's one of the best tournaments, not just rounds, but best tournaments of golf I've ever seen. Joey Logano won at Texas. Damn you, Joey, a week too late. So I picked you at Talladega. Kansas is this weekend. Texas was not that bad of a race. It's a great finish. Kansas is always a great race. Who
Yeah.
wins?
Trying to remember how small Kansas is small. What was it like a super speedway? What was it like a middle size?
It's a mile and a half.
I don't know. I don't know any
Oh my god, this is going to break 2 straight weeks with Penske winning. Because you got Austin Cindric, you got Joey. Give this weekend to Ryan Blaney. As long as he doesn't have the luck that he's had. So his luck, he'll finish last.
Yeah.
Alex Palou won the Alabama Grand Prix. The Indy Road Course is this weekend. Who wins?
New Garden.
You just love picking New Garden.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Palou just because I'm pretty sure Palou's won all but one race this year. Oscar Piastri won at Miami. Lando finished second. F1 is off until May 18th. The Kentucky Derby was this weekend. Sovereignty won the Kentucky Derby. I watched it. Turned it on, right as it was starting because the fact they have 6 hours of coverage for a, 2-second race is so freaking stupid. And to make matters worse is that Sovereignty is, they're skipping the Preakness. But they're going to have them compete in the Belmont Stakes. So what's the point? I feel like if you, going in to the Kentucky Derby, you should have to sign a thing that says if you win it, if your horse wins it, they have to compete for the Triple Crown.
Yeah.
Because at this point, who cares about the Preakness and Belmont Stakes now? Like, the only reason people watch it is, for one, the degenerate gamblers that, just love gambling money away on stupid-ass horse racing. And also, it's about the Triple Crown. But now you don't have that, so now the only reason to watch this is to gamble. And I don't do that because I could not give 2 craps about horse racing. I think it's very worthless. That's just my opinion. I know I'll get hate for it, but I don't care. The Utah Hockey Club now has a name. They are now the Utah Mammoth.
Not mammoths.
No, it's Utah Mammoth.
One single mammoth.
That's what ESPN had today. It's the Utah Mammoth.
I think they're forgetting an S. That sounds kind of stupid. The mammoth. I think there's one. There's one mammoth.
They could have picked a better name. I was all in on the Storm of Mormons. Everybody was. That's probably what actually won the fan vote, and they turned it down.
Yeah.
It's bull. So congratulations to Utah. Utah also, went from 13th to 4th in the draft lottery. I watched the NHL draft lottery for some reason. Don't know why. The Islanders got the first pick in the draft lottery. They moved from 10th to 1st. The Sharks, who had the top odds, fell to 2nd, and the Blackhawks, who had the second best odds, fell to 3rd. I mean, I guess it's good to have a different team have the first pick since the Sharks had it last year and the Blackhawks had it 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So, and they got 2 generational talents, and Celebrini and Bedard.
Yeah.
Couldn't think of his name. Should never hear of it anymore because, you
Both teams suck.
Yeah. Talking about hockey, the Jets Stars game 1 is tonight. Of course, the Jets were able to hilariously come back and beat the St. Louis Blues because the Blues suck.
Within 5 seconds of the game ending.
Yeah, it was so great. It was so great. I watched the end of the game. Nothing puts a better smile on my face than watching a St. Louis team blow it. Because it happens a lot. And I love, all the fans getting pissed off. The Oilers lead the Golden Knights 1-0. The Maple Leafs lead the Panthers 1-0. And the Hurricanes lead the Capitals 1-0. The Hurricanes absolutely dominated the Capitals in Game 1. Although it was only 2-1, they dominated. They only allowed 17 shots on goal for the Capitals. Only one by Alexander Ovechkin. Now, did I actually know that from watching the game? No, I got that from ESPN last night. Also, for all you soccer fans, Milan beat Barcelona to make it to the championship. Apparently, it was a really good game. From what I saw the highlights of it. It looked pretty good, but I don't watch soccer. So, Lamine Yamal also missed a wide open net to tie the game. So, it happened. You have anything else? Thank you guys for listening. Enjoy the NHL playoffs. Enjoy the NBA playoffs. Enjoy the NBA draft lottery next Monday. We'll talk a lot about the draft lottery next week. And then, of course, leading up to the draft, I'll do a mock draft because I love doing mock drafts. For NBA, screw the NFL one. Guarantee I get more in the NBA right than I do in the NFL, which doesn't take much.
No.
But
there's only 5 positions compared to, 15.
I'm also going to do a full 2-round mock. Possibly. This is a loaded class. So I might do a 2-round mock. So be prepared for that. I won't be, but that will also make it to where I'll get more right.
Oh, you just absolutely look like an idiot and get nothing.
Be like, you know who's going first overall? It's not Cooper Flagg.
Yeah.
It is. So yeah, enjoy that. Enjoy baseball. Other than that, it's not much going on. Enjoy waiting for the Aaron Rodgers saga because he's not signing with the Steelers after their move today. I'm going to tell you that. Thank you guys for listening. Come back here next week. Peace.